Jay?
For the past several years, in Berkshire's annual shareholder letter, there's been increasingly less detail provided on its operating businesses and financial performance. For example, the company is no longer providing details on the finance and financial products segment, or a balance sheet for the manufacturing, service, and retail segment, or a breakdown of float by unit in the insurance business. For a company as large and diversified as Berkshire, why are investors being provided less information than previously?
Well, I don't think we actually provide less information. We may present it in a somewhat different form from year to year. Just this year, for example, I started my letter, as usual in my mind, as saying, "Dear Doris and Birdie," my sisters, to tell them what I would tell anybody that had a very significant proportion of their net worth in Berkshire, who was intelligent, did not know all the lingo of our various businesses, that would read a lot of words because they did have a large investment. So if I explained anything and did a decent job, that they would understand what I was talking about. And I tell them that in the language that I think will be understandable to a significant percentage of 1 million plus people who have all kinds of different understanding of accounting and all that sort of thing. I tell them the information I would want to hear on the other side. Now, if I was a competitor and I wanted to know what one of our furniture store was earning or something of the sort, I might love it, but it doesn't really make any difference. If you're talking about a $500 billion organization, if you understand our insurance business, and in terms of giving you the picture, I think in 3 or 4 or 5 pages, actually we've got a whole bunch of stuff that's required by the SEC about loss reserve development. I think you can write a 300-page report that gives a whole lot less information than a 50-page report, and you lose people. So I try to tell them, like I say, in my mind it's my sisters. I try to tell them what I would tell them if we had a private business and they owned a third of it each and I owned a third, and once a year they like to get filled in, and they don't know what a combined ratio means because it's a dumb term that everybody uses, and the important thing is call it a profit margin. They don't know what the operating ratio is in the railroad business, and it's an obsolete term. It'd be better to call that a profit margin. But the lingo, we're not writing it for analysts. We are writing it for shareholders, and we're trying to tell them something so they can make an addition. They can not only get the picture as to what we own now, but how we think about the operation, what we're trying to do over time. And we try to do the best job we can every year. And I think if somebody is terribly interested in the details, they really are missing the whole picture, because you could have known every detail of our textile business in 1965, but we could give you the information as how much we made from linings and how much we made from handkerchiefs, and you'd be in a different world. I mean, the important thing was how we looked at running money and what we would do about things over time, and you could have gotten very misled if you'd read it in 1980 or 85 and you looked for great detail on how See's Candy was doing, and as they moved eastward, we'll tell you that overall that failed in terms of moving out the territory, but going into a whole lot of detail that might be very interesting to an analyst, but really for the shareholder, they've got to make a decision as to who's running their money and how they're running it and what they've done over time and what they hope to do in the future and how to measure that. And we're writing it for the individual. Charlie?
Well, I suppose I should be watching every tiny little business down to the last nickel, but I don't. And I don't want that much detail. And I think our competitors would like it, and it wouldn't do our shareholders any good. So we'll probably just keep reporting the way we do.
You can see how flexible we are here.